Stories first. The United People's Freedom Alliance has handed over nominations for the Polonnaruwa and Matale districts. Nominations of the candidates contesting from the Freedom Alliance for the general election were handed over to the Polonnaruwa returning officer Nimal Abesari. The nominations were presented under the patronage of Minister Maithripala Sirisena, the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Candidates include Siripala Gamlat, Chandrasena Suryarachi, Rohan Ranasinghe, Jayasinghe Bandara, Jagat Hemachandra, Ranjit Gunaratne and Bashir Ahmed Mohammed. Meanwhile, nominations of the Freedom Alliance for the Matale district have also been handed over. Minister Janaka Bandara Tennakon presented nominations to returning officer Gamini Seniviratna. The alliance candidates are Rohana Disanayaka, Nandamitra Ekanayaka, Lakshman Vasantha Pereira, Samantha Dharmasena, Hilmi Karim, Aravinda Vanyarachi and Senthil Sivanyanam. Sarath Fonseka, rejecting the United National Front, joins the Janata Vimukti Peramuna.
Accordingly, he had consented to contesting the general election from the Democratic National Alliance launched by the opposition groups led by the JVP. Reports said that Sarath Fonseka had signed nominations to contest from the Colombo district. Accordingly, the struggle by opposition groups to get the consent of the opposition candidate has now drawn to an end. Sarath Fonseka earlier turned down the latest invitation to join the United National Front alliance. The invitation to join the UNF was conveyed to Anoma Fonseka by UNP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday. Fonseka's refusal to join the UNF was officially conveyed to the party today. The struggle heated up with the decision taken by the UNP to contest under the elephant symbol. Other parties levelled allegations saying that the UNP had reneged on the conditions agreed at the presidential polls.
ජනාධිපතිවරණයේදී අලියගෙන් රනිල් ඉල්ලුවා නම් නන්නත්තර වෙනවා.
Jathika Nidahas Peramuna leader Vimal Veeravansa, expressing views at a media briefing yesterday, referred to the attempts made by political groups to field Sarath Fonseka at the general election.
වෙලා තියෙනවා ඒ රනිල්ට වෙච්ච දේ. සීනුවෙන් ආවොත් අපත් නැහැ.
අලියට එක්ක අහුවෙන්නේ කියලා කොටසක් කියනවා. අනිත් පැත්තේ කුසලානය ආරාධනා කරනවා කුසලානයට එක්ක අහුවෙන්නේ කියලා.
Meanwhile, at a media briefing today, Minister Lakshman Abesari said that one side was calling to join the elephant while the other side invited to join the trophy. Some say they have a common view, but no one is allowed to put it into practice. Where is this opposition party? On one hand, the JVP has reached a situation where they cannot contest under their political symbol. There is a dispute between the parties, Mr. Hakim and Manu Ganeshan. Until now, the minister said they have been unable to reach an agreement.
Hambantota District Freedom Alliance candidate Namal Rajapaksa has urged his supporters to refrain from organising processions on the final day of handing over nominations. Staging demonstrations or processions will hinder the day-to-day activities of the people of the area. Preventing such activities will be a massive strength for the conduct of a peaceful poll. Staging processions violating election laws will tend to clashes. Namal Rajapaksa said it is a responsibility and obligation of everyone to prevent such incidents taking place. He invited other candidates and supporters to join in setting an example from the Hambantota district in the conduct of a peaceful poll. He urged the candidates and supporters to engage in religious observances at places of worship for a peaceful poll and also contribute to clean the particular hospitals and public places during this period. Several special police teams have been deployed to arrest Dhanuna Tilakaratne, the son-in-law of Sarath Fonseka. This was announced by police spokesperson Prashant Jayakodi. The Colombo Fort Magistrates Court issued an arrest warrant on 15th of February for Dhanuna over his involvement in which he is alleged to have cheated public funds by forwarding and preparing forged documents in a deal with the Sri Lanka Army. Meanwhile, the CID yesterday informed the court that although a warrant has been issued for his arrest, he was still absconding. The CID investigators said under the directions of a senior CID officer, all the identified places have been inspected. They said that they have even recorded statements. The public have strongly protested against a rally organized by the JVP in South Korea demanding the release of Sarath Fonseka. Arrangements had been made to stage a demonstration opposite the Sri Lankan mission in Seoul by a group of JVP members. However, it was not possible to continue the demonstration as Sri Lankans serving in South Korea were strongly against the protests since the beginning. The Sri Lankans said that holding such demonstrations was a futile act as good governance prevailed within the island. The Sri Lankan has summoned the acting British High Commissioner to lodge its strong protest against the UK Foreign Secretary David Miliband's intention to participate at a global Tamil Forum inaugural meeting. Minister Rohitha Bogalagama, who summoned a special news briefing today, said that the Global Tamil Forum is an umbrella organization of the now vanquished LTTE terrorism.
Now any foreign minister or foreign secretary associated with a forum of this nature will only give credence, whatever the intentions may be. The physical presence at a forum of this nature will only give credence to the manifestation. And therefore, I inform the Acting High Commissioner to advise his capital that the concerns of the government of Sri Lanka and the government of Sri Lanka strongly protest of the intentions of the Foreign Secretary in the participation at the Global Tamil Forum that is due to be held today in London.
Still on local news, the government was taking action against Sarath Fonseka according to the law of the country. Briefing the media today, Minister Lakshman Yapa Abeyewardene said the government strongly condemned the statement made by the US Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs, Robert Blake. The minister emphasized that Robert Blake had no right whatsoever to dictate terms to Sri Lanka on her judicial process. He pointed out that Sri Lanka is capable of handling the issue according to the law of the land. Minister Lakshman Yapa pointed out that it is up to the Sri Lankan authorities to decide whether Sarath Fonseka should be tried in a military court or in a civil court. The minister was commenting in response to the statement made by Mr. Blake to effect that Sarath Fonseka should be tried in a civil court. The case filed against former parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake on an alleged fraud involving $3 billion was taken up at the Colombo High Court today. Deputy Exchange Controller Sisira Kumara was summoned to give evidence before High Court Judge Deepani Vijayasundara, and he said that he had received a letter directed to the monitoring unit of the bank by Lincoln Pearsena that an account had been opened at the Stratford Chartered Bank branch at York Street to purchase shares of the Union Bank. Also, when inquiries were made from Mr. Pearsena over the telephone, Sisira Kumara further stated in his evidence that Ravi Karunanayake's name surfaced. The case was adjourned until the 2nd of March. Keynes India, which is exploring for oil in Sri Lankan waters, is to start gathering meteorological data and monitor ocean currents next month ahead of a test drilling program. According to Neil De Silva, the head of Sri Lanka's Petroleum Resources Development Secretariat, overseeing the exploration efforts, the subcontract for the Meteorocean and Current Survey in the Gulf of Mannar of the island's northwest is to be awarded soon. Keynes India is to drill 3 test wells before the 1st of October 2011, according to their work program. The firm has completed 3-dimensional seismic activity surveys of its exploration block in the Gulf of Mannar and is now processing the data to identify drilling locations. The company is looking for oil in a 3,000 square kilometers block in deep water ranging from 400 meters in the east to about 1,900 meters towards the west. Nearly 58,000 farming households in Sri Lanka are expected to benefit from a United Nations funded program. It is designed to improve their livelihoods, boost their incomes and enhance their participation in the marketing and selling of their products.
The $25 million loan from the International Fund for Agricultural Development will enable the country's National Agribusiness Development Program to help small producers, women, landless households and young people in rural areas. The program will help increase the incomes of smallholder farmers by 20 to 30%. Another goal is to help farmers become directly involved in processing and marketing their products such as fruits, vegetables, spices, cereal, milk and dry fish. The Rome-based agency said the program will provide business expertise so that farmers can take part in joint ventures as equal partners with the private sector.